Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of my mini series using the Lift Me Up bundle. Today, well, if you saw the video yesterday, we used some of the wonderful DSP you can earn for free with a $50 purchase, and we will be bringing that DSP back later in the week. But today I wanted to create a really simple card, and here is the sample card, using the gorgeous Glimmer paper that you could earn for free. Isn't that beautiful? I can't get over the Glimmer paper, and the Glimmer paper was just released on February 21st, as well as 2 other items. And here it is. And being tomorrow is March 1st, I'm really going to start showcasing some of the, if not most, of the celebration items, since you have one more month to grab them while you can. Once March 31st is gone, so will the products be. And this Glimmer paper is one of my favorites. So, remember, if you do decide to purchase the Lift Me Up bundle, purchasing the 2 together saves you 10%. So, here's the Glimmer paper. You get 4 of each color. We have Mint Macaron, Sweet Sugar Plum, Bermuda Bay, and it is just so sparkly and pretty. I just love it. And tomorrow a video will be posted introducing the card club of the month for my customers for March. So if you are wanting to place an order, I suggest waiting until tomorrow and watching that video first, and I will introduce a new HOSTESS code. Tomorrow's video will show you the 3 cards you can earn with a qualifying order from me as my customer. And this is one of them. So you will get the supplies to make this card with that beautiful Mint Macaron Glimmer paper. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow. I'm really excited about the little card club for the month of March. And each month will be different. So stay tuned for that. Definitely come back for that. So I'm going to put this paper aside. Here is the Lift Me Up bundle, the stamp set and the dies. Today you will only need this die from the set, and we need to take out our sentiment, and we can put this aside. I'm going to use the Sweet Sugar Plum. In this one I used Bermuda Bay. So you will need a piece of your Sweet Sugar Plum. The inks we're using today to create a watercolor wash are Bermuda Bay, Watermelon Wonder, and So Saffron. I have my stamping dimensionals. I have a piece of watercolor paper that is A2 size, but once I am done with my watercoloring, I will trim it. And then I have a strip of Sweet Sugar Plum. You will also need a card base. I have my piercing mat to stamp on, and then my die brush, which I will show you if you're not familiar with it, how to use it for my die cutting. And you will need a card base. And for my card base today, I am using Sweet Sugar Plum. It is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and then will be scored at 5 1/2. So let me clear this off and we'll go ahead and get started. So here is my big shot. I have my magnetic platform, and then I am bringing in my precision base plate. When you have dies this intricate, it is best that you have one of these, and all supplies as always will be linked below. So I'm going to use this side, and just a word of warning that this is a strong connection. So be careful of your fingers not to get them pinched. This piece is also longer, so be careful with that. I like to just put it together and then slide it to adjust. It's very easy to pinch your fingers in between these two, and it doesn't feel good, knowing from experience. So I am taking my piece of Sweet Sugar Plum Glimmer paper, lay that down, and let me flip this. I must use up every single bit of this paper. And I'm going to go ahead and place this on my paper. And I like to run it through a few times. With cardstock, running it through once works fine, but the Glimmer paper is a little bit more particular. So I run it through a couple times just to make sure it cuts all the way through. I know some people will also run it through upside down, just whatever works for you. It's kind of a learning curve. You just have to practice and see what works best. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, now I have my little foam mat, and I'm going to bring in my brush. And on intricate dies like this, if you run the brush over this, and you can use the foam mat if you want. Some people hold it and will do it, but look, all the bits come out. So it kind of helps you from having to sit there and pick them out with a piercing tool or something sharp to get it out. And so your image will pop right out. And I just kind of run it through. And now with cardstock, this works 100% with me. That's my experience. With the Glimmer paper, it's a little bit more picky, like I said. So you will have some little bits left over, especially these really tiny ones. So I'll just go ahead and pop those out. So this brush is really cool. I mean, it works really well. And here's a tiny, tiny one I'll pop out. And there we go. There is our beautiful little hot air balloon. Really quick, really easy with this brush. I'm going to bring my piercing mat back. And I'm going to bring my sentiment and my sugar plum. And I'm going to ink up my sentiment in sugar plum. And this sentiment says, just a note to lift your spirits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this top sentiment row. And if you have a stamp positioning tool, you can use that here. But if you've watched my previous videos, I don't bother with it. I just take my chances. So my stamping block has grid lines. And so what I do is I take that top row of the sentiment and I line it up with the grid line. That way when I stamp, all I'm paying attention to is that grid line, making sure it is straight. Even if my stamp appears to be crooked, I'm just going to follow that grid line. So here is my sentiment strip. And I'm going to go ahead and ink it up in the sweet sugar plum. Now you can add a fishtail banner to this. You can, you know, do whatever you want. I'm just keeping a simple square. You can have this go all the way across. It's whatever your preference is. So I'm just going to take this and trim it like that. All right. Here is my card base. Go ahead and fold it. If you have a scoring tool, use that. Fold it like that, put that aside, and then I'm going to take my watercolor piece. And I'm going to start out with the sweet sugar plum. And what I do to get some water on the top of my pad is just smush it a couple times, and there we go. And then I'm taking my aqua painter and I'm just, I like to spray my paper with water just to kind of get color moving. I'm not putting, you know, watercolor on dry paper. There we go. And I kind of just clean my brush in the paper towel. Next, I'm going to take the So Saffron, give it a couple squeezes, get a little bit on there. We'll see if this is enough. If you have the Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils, definitely use these. I haven't checked to see if these are still, if the watercolor pencils are still available, so that is why I'm using the ink pads, just in case. I don't like showing things that you can't order. And then next, I'm going to take the Bermuda Bay, give it a couple squeezes, and then all right, I think that's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat dry this with my embossing heat gun, and then I'm going to trim it up because I want there to be a border so you can see the outline of the card base. So I will do that, and I'll. All right, here is my panel. It's dry, and I had trimmed 1/8 of an inch off each side. So then it'll give me a quarter of an inch border. I've also added some foam adhesive to the back. Stampin' Up! Does not sell this in strips. I have a lot in my stash I'm trying to get rid of because I hate this foam tape. But I will link 3M. I highly recommend the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I love them, but if you're like me, on panels, I like full coverage. That way there's no bowing or dipping. So I will link 3M's foam tape below, which is the best to use. I would only recommend that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my card base and adhere my card panel to my card base. And I'm putting the Sweet Sugar Plum at the top because my sentiment strip is in Sweet Sugar Plum, so I kind of want there to be a variant, a variance in different color or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and take my sentiment and I'm going to use some Stamping Dimensionals here. Stamping Dimensionals are great for small things. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. And as long as you don't push down, you can lift it back up, which is nice if you're like me that can't adhere anything straight. So next I'm going to take my hot air balloon and I'm going to quickly run my fine tip glue pen over it so it does not dry. It's not necessary to get every single strip on this hot air balloon. I just kind of get the main ones. There we go. And instead of doing it straight on, I'm going to do it like this. And there we go. There are 2 cards for the day. Really simple, really quick. And I think the simplicity of the card really makes the Glimmer paper shine. The die alone is gorgeous, but then when you die cut it in the Glimmer paper, it's just really pretty. So if you are interested in any of these products, they will be listed below. Stay tuned for tomorrow where I will have the card club. I will introduce the card club for the month of March and a new hostess code. Remember, any order below 150, use that hostess code that allows me to get supplies for the card club. So day 3 of my Lift Me Up series will continue on Thursday. Tomorrow I will post the video introducing the new card club like I have said, but I'm also going to be, let me grab it, making a card using the medallion, make a medallion stamp set. And this is another item you could earn for free. I was playing around last night and I'm obsessed. Here's something I did. So I'm going to create something and make this into a card. And I really want to show you guys the stamp set. It is so exciting and it can be earned for free. It was also in the release with the Glimmer paper. So stay tuned for the card club introduction tomorrow with a new host code, and stay tuned for a card featuring this gorgeous stamp set. So until then, I'll see you later. Bye.